Hello and welcome to day 3 of our 30-day yoga therapy challenge. We've been exploring mobility and movement of the arms and the shoulders, and we're going to continue that today. But we're going to start to add some more load to make it a little bit more challenging. So keep in mind that everything that I offer is an invitation, and I'll provide some opportunities for you to explore, and so you can adapt the right amount of load that's appropriate for you for today. So before we begin, let's just take a moment to connect inward. So come into a comfortable seat or stand standing, whatever feels the best for you. I'm sitting on the floor just on a small block. So if you're sitting on the floor or on a chair, connect to your sitting bones. So if you were to sit on your hands and give yourself a little wiggle, you'll find 2 bony protrusions. So if we can allow those 2 points to connect with whatever surface we're sitting on, that allows our pelvis to come into a more neutral position, which allows then our spine and everything above to be more neutral as well. If you're in standing, find a comfortable stance where you can connect to the 3 points of your feet, finding the center of your heels, the base of your big toes, and the base of your baby toes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and side out your mouth. Maybe try that one more time. And if it feels good, like we've done in previous sessions, just start to feel and connect into your body, giving your limbs a little rub. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this. Just be really effective just to give a couple passes over the arms and the legs. All right, and let's either close your eyes or just soften your gaze onto a single point. And let's come back to our breath again. Maybe noticing sensations in your body. Feeling the breath coming in through the nose and out through the nose. And just become aware of where your attention goes. Where might you be experiencing movement of your breath in your body? Maybe it's at your nose, in the back of your throat, your chest, your ribs or your belly. Maybe it's many places all at once, or maybe it's nowhere. Maybe you can sense how your arms and shoulders respond to your breath. Maybe there's something in the pelvis or legs that you're aware of. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just about noticing whatever it is. So if your eyes are closed, let's gently flutter the eyes open. And we'll come into our first practice, bringing our arms up into cactus arms. So you can stay sitting or standing or whatever position that you're in. And I have my elbows in line with my shoulders, but if it feels like you need to have your elbows a little bit lower, so it's more comfortable for your neck and your shoulders, please adjust accordingly. Again, there's no right or wrong. We're just going to come to where we can hold with ease and breathe gently. I have my hands pointing forward. This is nice to open up through the front of the shoulders. Sometimes there can be some congestion here that can lead to tightness and pinching or tingling in the arms, and this can help relieve some of that. And remember that everything that I offer is an invitation. So at any point, if you need to bring your arms down to rest, bring them down to rest. And then bring the arms back up when you're ready. There's no set timeline or amount of time that you need to hold a position. It's going to vary for everyone. So my next invitation is you can either stay here and just hold as you are, or you can start to explore a little bit of movement, bringing the arms backwards and then back to the start. So the movement's happening where the arm bone comes into the shoulder socket. I'm not moving through my forearms or my hands. I'm neither arching or rounding my back. And I do notice though, as my arms come back, my legs tense up a little bit. So I might make my movement a little bit smaller. And you can also explore bringing the arms up and then back down, without changing the angle of the elbows. So we're not moving through the arms or straightening the arms completely. Again, getting a sense of how your upper arms are moving in the shoulder sockets. If you go too far, like this, notice how my arms start to come forward, my elbows start to come forward in space. So I'm just going to explore a range where my elbows stay to the sides where they started. You might start to feel some burn or some fatigue at the top of your shoulders. That's good. Building some strength. Let's try a couple more if you're still with me. And then let the arms come down and rest. Just check in with your breath. I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the video that we will need a strap for this next one. So if you need to put your video on pause and go grab a strap or a belt or a scarf or something, do that now. Okay, so we've given our arms a little break and we have our strap. We're going to bring our arms back up into that cactus position. And you can see what it feels like to have the hands close together. For me, I feel a lot of pinching and tightness in through my shoulders. And when I slide my arms further apart, it's easier, there's more ease to hold on, I can breathe a lot better. So I've got my hands in line with my elbows, and my wrists are neutral. And there's just a little bit of resistance holding onto the strap. And then our movement is going to be circling the arms. So again, getting a sense of upper arms moving in the shoulder sockets. And you might feel some movement of your shoulder blades on your back. But if you find that if you're moving your ribs or your spine to create the movement, then we've lost the movement of the arms. So right now, I'm moving my torso, but my arms aren't actually moving. If I keep my torso neutral, keep it quiet, then I can start to explore the movement of the arms. And the movement might be teeny tiny. You might think of how can I connect to this if you're not quite getting it. You can think or point your fingers up and trace little circles in the air, like you're trying to draw a circle on the ceiling. That might help. You can also explore going the other direction. Breathing gently, make sure you're not holding your breath. Taking a break whenever you need. Fatigue might start to set in, that's okay. Maybe a bigger movement is available. But you can also notice the angle of my elbows hasn't changed, right? Yeah. All right, I'm getting tired, so I'm going to take a break. And you can take a break as well. And just let your arms hang. If it feels like you want to move the shoulder blades up and down a few times, feel free to do that, or just rest. So our next exercise, we're actually going to utilize the wall. So if you need to move yourself around to find a wall that you can use, and then we'll come up and we're going to stand beside the wall. So you want a little chunk of space that's about the length of your arm, because we will bring our arm behind us. So want to make sure you're not bumping into any furniture or any doorways. So adjust yourself so you're standing sideways to the wall, and maybe start about a foot away from the wall. And as we go into it, if you need to come a little bit further away, you can go further away, or you can go in a little bit closer. So we want to keep have a neutral standing position. So let's find the center of our heels, base of the big toes and the base of the baby toes. Pelvis is neutral, spine is neutral, head is neutral. So we want to keep this kind of straight up and down, forward and back position. And we're going to take the arm that's closest to the wall, and we're going to extend it behind us to about 3 o'clock. So if there was a clock on the wall, we'd have 12 o'clock, 1, 2, and then 3. If 3 o'clock, so your hand's going to be at about 3 o'clock and your arm is straight. And if this feels like it's too much or you can't get your hand to the wall, step further away. Okay, come further away from the wall. And so that decreases the angle of your shoulder. So just take a moment to adjust. You want to be in a place where body is neutral, the arms against the wall, elbows straight. You can breathe with ease. So if you're holding your breath, if you're really straining, if it's really intense, ease off a little bit. Give yourself more space because we're going to hold it for a little bit. So feel into the sensations in your body. Notice where there's stretch. Notice where there's ease and effortlessness. Our breath can give us clues or cues about our level of effort and ease. And then we're going to slide the arm up to between about 1 and 2 o'clock. I realize my head's in the way, but my arm is up a little bit higher. So the arm's straight, just resting my hand against the wall. You could press your hand into the wall and notice what that does for you. You don't have to. Or you can just press, feel it, and then release. Check in with your breath again. If your hand starts to go tingly, release your arm down and wait for the tingling to subside. If you feel like you need to release sooner, take a break. There's no set time for how long to hold this. So your time could be less than 9 or it could be longer. This is where kind of individual variation comes into play. So you have to make that decision for yourself about what feels appropriate. And then we're going to bring the arm up to 12 o'clock. And so I know I've got a little bit more space to move, so I'm going to go in a little bit closer to the wall. And you can experiment for yourself, moving in closer or further away. So again, I'm not side bending in order to have my arm up. I've got a neutral torso. And just take a few more gentle rounds of breath. I'm not making my breath long or trying to extend it, just breathing softly. And then to release, let the arm come down behind you. And we'll just stand and pause for a moment. And notice how that arm and shoulder feel. If you're looking at me on the screen, you might see that my right arm is hanging much lower than my left arm. So let's balance it out. Let's turn and we'll do the other side. So make sure you've got some space behind you. Coming into your mountain pose. Center of the heels, base of the big toes, base of the baby toes. And then when you're ready, taking the wall side arm back to about 9 o'clock. So now we're going the opposite direction on our clock. I'm going to step away a little bit here. So if you have to readjust your position, find the 3 points of your feet again. Notice your breathing. So our breathing is kind of like a barometer for our body. Are we over-efforting or can we just breathe really easily? If breath is strained, or if you're holding your breath, that's a sign that you're maybe over-efforting. You can soften a little bit. More effort doesn't mean better results. And so if that's a belief that you have, I encourage you to be curious about the opposite. Explore, try it out, and then see what your experience is. So I can tell you all kinds of things, but it's not really going to land unless you experience it for yourself. Let's bring the arm up now between 10 and 11 o'clock. Remember, if the fingers go tingly or if your arm needs a break, you can bring your arms down and rest. And then we'll move back into 12 o'clock again. And you might be noticing that the side feels different than the first side. It's normal to have different experiences side to side. Our bodies are not symmetrical. Easy breath. And then when you're ready, taking the arm down behind, and we'll just stand and notice how that arm and shoulder feels. And now my arms have evened out. Beautiful. Yeah, so that's I find that's a really nice release. And just take a few breaths, maybe like take some nice deep breaths, and notice how that stretch has perhaps maybe impacted your breathing. And if it hasn't, if you don't notice anything, that's okay too. Just gonna see how we're doing for time. Okay. We're probably gonna go to 20 minutes today. I wanna do one more with you because I wanna load up our arms now that we've had a nice release. So we're gonna start using the wall. We're gonna bring our hands straight up from our shoulders, palms against the wall, and then start to take your legs back a little bit. And then let the arms support the rest of your body. I even have my heels lifted. You can have your heels down. So that will be something you explore, heels up or heels down. And then you might want to explore the positioning of your arms. And we're gonna do a little bit of an elbow bend, a little bit of push up. So you can keep your arms as they are and see what that feels like. Or you can take your arms a little bit wider and notice what that feels like. Another option would be to do a little bit of an internal rotation, so rotating the whole arm slightly so that it looks like the fingers are turning in a little bit. So I'm not just moving from my wrist, I'm moving my whole arm. So arms are supporting the weight of the body. And it might be that you bring your hands a little bit lower as well. So you just have to do some little refinements. And then we're going to start to bend the elbows and then bring the arms straight. So the spine is staying neutral. I'm not creating the movement through arching or rounding my spine or pushing my hips forward or lifting my hips back. And it's up to you in terms of how much you bend your elbows. It might be a little micro bend or it might be a big bend. You might play with how close the feet are to the wall. So the further your feet are away from the wall, the more load you'll have into your arms and the more challenging it will be. Right, so I'm fairly close right now. I can go a lot further. If I take my feet back and I'm on my toes, it's a lot more challenging. So let this kind of be a fun little exploration and maybe challenge yourself. So after you've done a few, let's come back to standing. Whew, I actually feel taller now. It's so fascinating, just working with the arms and shoulders, how that can change the experience throughout the whole body. I'm not saying that's going to make you feel taller, I'm saying that's what my experience is, and you get to experience what you're experiencing. All right, so that was our practice today. I invite you to, keep exploring if you found that really interesting. Let's come to a comfortable seat, or you can stay in standing, and we'll close together. Let's take 5 deep breaths. and out through the nose. And we'll bring the palms together and rub the hands together in a circle. And then the other way, and up and down. Press your palms together, and then place your hands over your eyes to block out all the light. Take a full breath in through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. One more time. Keep the eyes closed, but bring your palms together. Let's take a moment to honor the time you took to practice with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I look forward to joining you tomorrow. Have fun exploring. Bye for now.